The 1970s was truly a special era. Disco music filled the air. Everyone sported bell-bottoms and wide-collared shirts, and vibrant colored vans cruised down every street. Life back then was both simple and lively. Kids played outdoors until late evening, while adults gathered around bulky box TVs. And amidst all that glitter and glam, countless peculiar habits and trends emerge that make us laugh just looking back at them. In this video, we're going to explore the 20 funniest things about the 70s. The polyester suit. The 70s was the undisputed era when polyester suits became a fashion icon. Despite a wide variety of fabrics available, polyester held a strange allure, finding its way into wardrobes everywhere. These suits were incredibly versatile. You could wear them to a formal office, family gatherings, or even on a dazzling disco dance floor without a second thought. They were also miraculously wrinkle-resistant and easy to wash without ironing. Perfect for those who love simplicity and comfort, a stark contrast to the rigid and elaborate fashion rules of previous times. Just imagine these outfits looking like incredibly shiny, mobile pieces of plastic, often adorned with flashy patterns and eye-catching designs, and sometimes even static charged enough to light a small bulb. Most notably, the giant billowy butterfly collars seemed ready to take flight at any moment. The bigger the collar, the cooler you were considered, or at least that's what an entire generation convinced themselves. Lava lamps of the 1970s. Back then, people loved placing mystical lava lamps in their rooms to bring a new vibe to their living spaces, a little more vibrant, or as mysterious as a great scientist's laboratory. With slow-moving, gently swirling colored wax blobs rising and falling in clear liquid, this lamp created a mesmerizing and strangely relaxing effect, as if hypnotizing all eyes with its graceful and ever-changing dance, helping the soul unwind. Many spent hours just gazing at the ever-shifting shapes of lava lamps, completely immersed in the magical world they created without needing to leave their favorite comfy chair. This was truly screen-free entertainment. No complex technology needed, just a quiet corner and shimmering light to relax the soul, helping us temporarily forget life's worries. It's a reminder of the simple yet effective pleasures of a bygone era, a decorative item that, despite the passage of time, remains vivid in the memories of countless people, a symbol of relaxation and style. The Pet Rock Craze. The 1970s are also etched in many memories for a peculiar yet utterly fascinating trend, the Pet Rock Craze. What sounded like a joke actually swept across America, becoming an unforgettable cultural phenomenon. The mastermind behind this unique idea was Gary Dahl, a witty and daring advertising man. He came up with a way to transform lifeless rocks into the perfect companion. Each pet was neatly placed in a cardboard box with air holes, like a real pet carrier, accompanied by a hilariously absurd care manual that made everyone laugh, teaching it to sit still, lie down, and even play dead with impressive realism. Priced at just $3.95, these seemingly ordinary rocks brought Dahl a fortune over $1.5 million in less than 2 years. Looking back, people still find this trend both naive and endearingly strange. It harks back to a time when joy didn't need to be overly elaborate and simple. Unexpected things were enough to make an entire family burst into laughter. The Pet Rock wasn't just a fun gift. It was a way to chase away loneliness, connect friends, and bring hearty laughter to a whole generation. Did you ever own a strange pet rock? Comment yes if you did, no if you didn't, and let me know. The metric system that never stuck. On December 23, 1975, President Gerald Ford signed the Metric Conversion Act, an ambitious effort to make the metric system the preferred measurement system in the United States. Hoping to modernize the country and synchronize with the rest of the world, a seemingly logical and necessary step. Road signs began to display kilometers alongside miles, and packaged products also added grams and liters as a gentle reminder of the coming change of a future with new measurements. However, most Americans steadfastly refused to change their old habits, clinging firmly to the familiar imperial system of miles, gallons, feet, and pounds, considering it an indispensable part of American cultural identity. This metric revolution ultimately didn't succeed as expected, becoming a humorous tale of a nation's endearing stubbornness. Today, we're still stuck converting miles to kilometers, proving that sometimes habits and traditions are stronger than any government act. Shag carpets. If there's one item that could authentically and expressively define a 1970s living space, it would undoubtedly be the shag carpet. With its incredibly long, thick, and soft fibers, shag carpet appeared everywhere, from living rooms to bedrooms and even long hallways within homes. It was considered the pinnacle of luxury, coziness, and a trendy aesthetic, bringing comfort to every step. Many families transformed their homes into colorful oases with avocado-green or harvest gold carpets. They were soft and warm, making it comfortable to walk, sit, or lie down on them. However, the drawback of shag carpets was that their long fibers amazingly held on to everything, from cookie crumbs, tiny dust particles, to lost small items like earrings or tiny buttons, making keeping them clean a daily, arduous, and time-consuming battle. Cleaning even required the use of specialized carpet rakes, a tool that now sounds quirky and rare, but back then was an indispensable aid for many homemakers. If you accidentally dropped chewing gum or cigarette ashes, just pray your mom or aunt didn't see it. Billie Jean King and the Battle of the Sexes. In 1973, the tennis world witnessed a historic event. It was an iconic sporting match that captivated millions worldwide. It was dubbed the Battle of the Sexes. Billie Jean King, a talented, courageous, and determined 29-year-old female athlete, bravely accepted the arrogant and somewhat condescending challenge from Bobby Riggs. Bobby Riggs was a 59-year-old former male tennis champion who constantly declared that women could not compete with men on the court and that he could defeat any female athlete. Before the eyes of over 90 million people worldwide, a massive number at the time and broadcast live, King convincingly defeated Riggs, not only winning on the scoreboard, but also delivering a powerful blow to centuries-old gender stereotypes in society. This match was not just a memorable sporting moment, but also a crucial turning point, strongly advancing the conversation about gender equality and women's rights in society, giving a whole generation of women more confidence and motivation to rise up and assert their position in all areas of life. And Billie Jean King didn't just become a champion, she became an icon. Mood rings. These strangely colored rings were a beloved trend in the 1970s. They weren't just jewelry, but rather magical accessories believed to read all your deepest emotions, from joy to sadness. In reality, these rings had no magic as many thought. Instead, they contained special thermochromic liquid crystals that changed color based on the wearer's body temperature, creating an exciting and unexpected visual spectacle that everyone wanted to try. If it turned blue, you might be calm, relaxed, and peaceful, or if it appeared purple, it meant you were in a state of excitement, enthusiasm, and full of energy. Although science never proved their accuracy in reading emotions, these rings still became popular gifts, especially among boys who often gave them to girlfriends as a shortcut to understanding their complex feelings. A subtle and endearing way to show care, it was a unique blend of innocence, belief in magic, and a touch of simple science, bringing moments of fun and curiosity. Today, it might not be accurate or perfect, but it's certainly an interesting mark of the 70s, reminding us of an era when strange things brought genuine joy and romantic connection. Avocado-green appliances. Unlike the minimalist aesthetics and neutral tones of modern homes today, every 1970s house exploded with color from appliances and furniture, creating a living space full of personality. Distinctive colors like fresh avocado green, warm harvest gold, or bronze almond and mustard yellow appeared on every kitchen item, refrigerators, ovens, dishwashers. These colors even flooded bathrooms. Sweet pink, soothing blue, or vibrant green toilets were normal, and they often came with matching shag carpet toilet seat covers and tank covers, creating an unmistakable uniformity. Back then, people even used matching toilet paper to perfectly coordinate with the overall decor, turning every corner of the house into a colorful work of art. But interestingly, you would never find bronze toilet paper. Recalling those color palettes, many still feel a strange attachment, a familiar feeling of returning to their mother's or grandmother's home, where every item carried a story and the breath of a bygone era. The rise and fall of disco. Speaking of the 70s, we must mention disco, a music genre that stirred an entire generation. More than just catchy tunes like poignant ballads, vibrant rock, or stylish hip-hop, disco created an all-encompassing cultural movement. From dazzling dance floors with hypnotic flashing lights, rotating mirror balls reflecting magical effects, to glittering and tight polyester outfits, disco forged a free space where everyone could unleash themselves and dance their hearts out to the vibrant, non-stop rhythm. Disco's influence was so strong that even prominent and charismatic rock bands like the Rolling Stones and Kiss couldn't stay out of it, releasing disco-infused tracks like Miss You or I Was Made for Lovin' You to please the public. Some vividly remember how disco music became their life, an endless source of inspiration and joy, the sound of youth. However, disco's reign did not last forever. On July 12, 1979, the infamous Disco Demolition Night at a White Sox baseball game in Chicago, where thousands of disco records were brutally destroyed, caused total chaos. That event marked the beginning of disco's downfall in America, leaving many fans of the genre with regret. Today, disco music still thrives in Europe, with quality works that make us want to dance. If you lived through the 70s, share your most memorable experience. Who knows? It might be a shared memory for many others. The 1970s gas crisis. One of the most frustrating and unforgettable events of this decade was the gas crisis, when fuel suddenly became incredibly scarce and expensive. If you lived through those days, you would know firsthand that filling up your gas tank became an arduous task and sometimes a real battle. Cars back then were large, heavy, and gas-guzzling. People had to queue for hours at gas stations, sometimes even overnight, tired and worried, just to buy a limited amount of gas, enough to get to work or take care of their families. To manage this chaotic situation, gas stations began using colored flags to signal fuel availability. A green flag meant gas was available and service could be provided. A red flag meant it was out and no more could be sold, creating a complex traffic scene across the streets. Some places even limited the amount of gas each customer could buy to a maximum of 10 gallons. Macramé decorations and adorable owls. Macramé, a simple rope knotting technique, became a coming-of-age ritual for every skillful homemaker. Macramé decorative items were popular and widely loved in the 1970s. They brought a delicate handcrafted charm and a touch of romantic flair to every corner of 70s homes. Mothers and grandmothers with just ropes meticulously tied them into intricate and elaborate patterns, creating hanging plant holders from the ceiling, soft cushion covers for sofas, elegant coasters for tea tables, and unique artistic wall hangings. The most famous and beloved creation was probably the wise old owl made entirely of rope, with large, round wooden bead eyes staring down from the wall, creating a whimsical and familiar touch often hung in living rooms to greet guests and decorate. While today you'll find such items in antique shops, many people once made these decorations themselves, turning them into meaningful gifts for loved ones or adorning their homes. And not a few recall their own mothers tinkering with macramé, a beautiful image of creativity and family bonding in an era when handcrafted values were cherished and widely spread in the community, an indispensable part of memories of cozy homes of yesteryear. Saturday Night Live, SNL. On October 11th, 1975, the history of television comedy was forever changed with the debut of Saturday Night Live, SNL. It was a show that created a revolution with its bold, unpredictable, and incredibly humorous style, bringing a breath of fresh air to American television. Created by Lorne Michaels, with legendary names like John Belushi and Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd and Gilda Radner, These talented actors created many memorable characters, and SNL quickly became a weekly cultural event that no one wanted to miss, an essential part of Saturday evenings. What made the show magical and appealing was its live element. You had to be in front of the TV on Saturday night, or you'd miss the latest jokes and unique sketches everyone would be buzzing about the next morning at school or work. The absence of social media or instant replay platforms made the SNL experience much more unique and communal, transforming it into a shared memory where laughter and anticipation were widely shared in the community. Today, SNL is still broadcast regularly, but has undergone many changes in concept and content. And you can watch sketches on many different platforms like YouTube, Hulu, or Peacock. The bump and the hustle, iconic dances. The 70s weren't just the era of disco and glittering polyester, they were also the golden age of iconic dances, moves that made an entire generation famous. One of the most classic moves was the bump. It was a simple and playful dance where two people stood side by side and bumped hips to the vibrant rhythm of the music, sometimes eliciting giggles and occasionally leaving a few minor bruises, but it was still great fun. In contrast, the hustle was a more elaborately choreographed and complex dance with graceful spins and fluid glides, requiring rhythmic coordination between partners, making the dancer look like a true disco king or queen, full of poise and charm. Thanks to the hit song "Do the Hustle," this dance became a nationwide craze. These dances were not just a way to express oneself in personal style, but also an indispensable part of social communication, a bridge that helped people connect, share joy, and create unforgettable memories in the energetic music space of the 70s, a beautiful memory of radiant youth and sleepless nights gone by, where music and dance truly were life, a call for freedom and happiness. Men's unbuttoned shirts and chest hair trend. Men's style during this period was all about confidence, such as showing a bit of skin. Back then, shirts were only buttoned halfway down the chest, naturally exposing a healthy patch of chest hair. The more chest revealed, the cooler and more attractive the man was. Cinematic and music icons like Burt Reynolds with his rugged appearance and John Travolta with his irresistible charm strongly popularized this style, making it the standard for charisma and masculinity, a role model for many young men to emulate. Many still remember images of movie stars from that time with their unbuttoned shirts showcasing a rugged and distinctive look, becoming an indispensable part of parties. Today, everything has completely reversed. Young men no longer choose unbuttoned shirts. They also opt for shaving or waxing or laser hair removal. While looking back, that style might seem a bit humorous and exaggerated at the time. It represented liberation from old rules, a declaration of individuality and freedom in personal expression, an unforgettable mark. If you ever owned an unbuttoned shirt, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to not miss out on the next fascinating, nostalgic content. Gym Fixx and the running craze. In 1977, Jim Fixx ignited a fitness craze across America with his groundbreaking book, The Complete Book of Running. Before that, running was often considered eccentric, reserved only for professional athletes or weird sports enthusiasts, not very common in daily life. But Fixx proved otherwise. Running was not only good for physical health, but also cleared the mind, bringing joy and a sense of freedom to anyone who hit the pavement. Jim Fixx's image in short shorts, a headband, and classic sneakers running through streets and parks became a symbol of this movement. He inspired millions to start exercising, transforming running from something odd into a nationwide health trend. But tragically, Fixx himself died of a heart attack while running at age 52. This heartbreaking event made many reflect. No matter how good health is, it has limits, and listening to one's body is more important than any trend. Nevertheless, his story remains an unforgettable part, a somewhat ironic yet meaningful beginning, ushering in a new era for the modern fitness movement where joy, health, and spirit transcended all prejudices. The Ford Pinto reached for American families during an economic crisis. It offered hope for a convenient, economical vehicle seemingly an ideal road companion for every home. However, reality was far from shiny. The car was boxy, bland, and unremarkable, but what was more concerning was a deadly flaw hidden deep beneath its modest exterior. The fuel tank was placed too close to the rear, prone to collision and explosion with just a light impact, turning seemingly minor crashes into tragedies. According to statistics, at least 27 people died due to this issue, making the Ford Pinto a dark chapter in automotive history. What's even more heartbreaking, there were rumors that the car manufacturer knew about the defect, but still released the Pinto to the market because modification costs were too high. This story is not just a warning about engineering and design, but also reflects an era where safety was sometimes prioritized after profit. Looking back, the Pinto is a memory, both painful and a valuable lesson, reminding future generations about caution, responsibility, and the value of life in every decision. Road trips with kids. Back in the years before smartphones, tablets, or electronic devices existed, family road trips were not just journeys, but truly colorful adventures. Kids sat in the back seat, feet touching the edge of the seat or bouncing up and down as the car turned, finding their own joy in their own way. They played I Spy, counted trucks and buses, gazed at rice fields and cows leisurely grazing, or simply watched clouds drift in the vast blue sky. Laughter echoed, sometimes mixed with grumbles of, "Dad, are we there yet?" All creating simple yet memorable moments that, even now, we recall with a nostalgic smile. When patience ran thin and grumbling increased, parents would often unleash a classic threat no one dared challenge. "Don't make me pull this car over." And immediately, the entire back seat would fall silent, with only the sound of tires rolling on asphalt, the smell of sun and road dust, and the wind rushing past the windows, tousling children's hair. There are moments that any child from back then remembers, being crammed with 1,015 other kids into the back of Dad's pickup truck, fresh from a soccer or basketball game, speeding off to the store for slushies. Laughter boomed, wind rushed across faces, hair flew, mixed with the thrill of fear of falling, all creating a joy that was both scary and delightful. Memories that children today rarely experience in a safe, convenient world. These moments are a testament to a childhood full of anticipation, boredom, and direct family interaction, where mischief, laughter, and even small grumbles became precious, vivid memories that, each time recalled, make the heart flutter and the mouth smile. Backyard family cookouts. When mentioning the most familiar things of the 70s, one cannot overlook backyard family barbecues, a weekend ritual that many still reminisce about today. This wasn't just a meal. It was a ceremony of togetherness and simple joy, where everyone temporarily put aside the worries of the work week to enjoy moments together. The image of Dad flipping fragrant burgers or hot dogs on a sizzling grill, while Mom prepared fresh salads and delicious side dishes, was a familiar and warm scene. Neighbors or relatives might drop by unexpectedly, no invitation needed, creating a sense of close-knit community. Everyone sat on old aluminum folding chairs, happily eating on convenient paper plates, while their eyes gazed out through the screened back door where a gentle breeze blew in, carrying the mingled scent of grass and grilled food. These parties weren't for showing off or boasting. They were opportunities to slow down, to chat, laugh, share everyday stories that sometimes we inadvertently miss in our hurried lives today. Those were simple yet emotionally rich days where family and friends became the centerpiece and life seemed lighter and warmer than ever. Playing records together. The 70s was a time when music was enjoyed in an entirely different way, slowly, focused, and full of connection. The turntable sat proudly in the living room, surrounded by a vinyl collection with colorful album covers, from meticulous drawings to photos of artists we once admired. The whole family or close friends would gather, carefully placing the needle onto the record, eyes following every word and image on the cover, then listening from beginning to end to each track like attending a small but solemn ceremony. The warm crackle as the needle touched the record, the whirring sound of the machine, and the smell of old cardboard mixed with the woody scent of the record shelf all created an experience that was not just about listening, but also feeling. No noise-canceling headphones, no phones or social media, just real people in that room and a shared joy in music. There were memorable Sunday afternoons when the whole family held their breath waiting for their favorite song on the radio. Quickly hitting the record button on a cassette tape, everyone had to stay absolutely silent to not ruin the recording. The afternoon sun streaming through the window, shining on the wooden floor, creating a space that was both tranquil and vibrant. Music back then was not just a part of life for many, it was life, a source of inspiration, a simple yet enduring joy. Sitting together, listening to each note, laughing, sharing emotions. These are warm moments that now only exist in memory, but are deeply etched and strangely beautiful. A time we were so lucky we didn't even know it. Bicycles, bell-bottoms, and the struggle of the 70s kid. Back then, for kids, there was a battle, both funny and annoying, that almost everyone experienced. The beloved bicycle versus the trendy bell-bottoms. Bicycles at the time were not just transportation, but symbols of freedom, their bells jingling through neighborhoods, wheels rolling on dusty village roads, taking us everywhere from school, the corner store, to afternoon rides through the fields. But fashion caught up with youth. Wide bell-bottoms, paired with colorful floral shirts, looked cool for walking, stood out for dancing, but when climbing onto a bicycle, they became a disaster. Just 1 second of inattention, and the pant leg would get caught tightly in the bike chain, tearing or tangling. So there we were, hunched over in the middle of the road, painstakingly untangling it, while friends laughed heartily and pedaled far ahead. That feeling of embarrassment mixed with frustration is likely still vivid in many memories. Those seemingly trivial troubles, now looking back, seem truly endearing. They are an indispensable part of youthful memories, where humor, unexpected falls, and the hearty laughter of friends contributed to a noisy, vibrant, and never-fading childhood. The 70s was a time without smartphones or social media, where we actually went out and connected with each other in a sincere, face-to-face way without any intermediate screens. Hopefully, this video has brought you back to those funny moments and evoked many memorable memories. If you find it interesting, don't forget to like to support, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any nostalgic journey in the future. And remember, there are many interesting stories about the past decades waiting for you to discover in other videos on the channel. See you on the next time travel.